can be intentional about your character, you can have money and a career.
You are the hero in your story.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's the Dave Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. Christy Wright, Ramsey personality and best-selling author, is my co-host today. Open phones as we talk about your life and your money. That's 888-825-5225. Christy is author of the number one best-selling book, Business Boutique, A Woman's Guide for Making Money, Doing What She Loves, and also the newly minted best-selling devotional called Living True, 40 Days to Get Back to You. So we'll talk to you guys about whatever you want to talk about in your life. Christy and I are here to help you. Certainly money is what a lot of people call about, but we'll help you wherever you are. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Christina is in Tempe, Arizona to start this hour off. Hi, Christina. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Hi. So I'm 21 years old, pregnant, 5 months pregnant, and I'm currently in a horrible auto loan. I owe $18,000, $4,000 underwater with a 26% interest rate.
You got messed over, didn't you?
Yes.
You were like desperate for a car and closed your eyes and signed whatever they put in front of you.
Yep.
Wow.
Sounds like it.
So I guess you learned your lesson on that go-round, huh?
Oh, I did.
I'm sorry. What a mess. What do you make a year?
About $25,000.
Okay. Man, how in the world they qualify you for an $18,000 26% loan and expected you to pay it? Somebody's an idiot. Oh,
No,
there are shysters and they're idiots. Okay. Yeah, the car's got to go, obviously. Wow. And you said you're 5 months pregnant.
I am, yes.
Okay. You're going to have to come up with the $4,000 to get rid of the car. And that's probably going to be a loan from your credit union. Could your family help you with that?
They can, yeah. I just don't want to depend on them right now.
Okay. I don't want you to depend on them either, but I want you out of this car. It's got to go. Now, if we get rid of the car, what are you going to drive?
I was thinking about refinancing my car, paying the $4,000 up front and maybe still keep the car. And maybe if I'm lucky, I'm able to lower my payments and
a
lower interest rate.
No. You have a car you can't afford.
Okay.
It's ridiculous. I mean, you make $25,000 a year. You don't drive around in a car that's $18,000.
Right.
It just doesn't. There's no way this makes sense. It's a bad deal. So the car needs to go bye-bye, and then you're going to have a $4,000 loan and no car. So we've got to get you $1,000 or something, $1,500 to get you a hoopty to ride around in.
Okay.
Anyway, do you have any access to any kind of a work? I hate to put the whip on your back with you 5 months pregnant, but you're in a mess, and I'd love for you to pick up some more income to be able to address all this.
Yeah. I'm working 40 hours at a dental office right now.
Okay.
At $14.
Yeah. Do you have any access to extra work that you can do 5 months pregnant?
I don't. I was thinking maybe Uber or something like that may help.
Yeah, you won't be able to do that if you get rid of this car and get a $1,500 car. Uber won't qualify you with an old car like that. But you got to get rid of this car. So where's the dad?
Dad's working. He's going to school for EMT right now.
Okay. Did I miss something? Somehow I got the impression you weren't married.
Oh, no, I'm not married.
Oh, okay. All right. So are y'all living together?
Yes, we're living together.
Okay. So he's going to EMT school and he makes what?
Well, right now he's just working at a grocery store, but he's going to EMT school We're just kind of living off just minimum wage jobs right now.
Mm-hmm. Okay. How old is he?
He's 23.
Okay. Christy?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those things where you turn every dial that you can. So what that looks like for you, Christina, if you can start a side gig, if you can pick up a few extra hours doing administrative something that's not going to be really hard on you 5 months pregnant to create a little bit of extra income on your boyfriend, for him to take a second job, for him to take a third job, for him to help turn the dials in the income as well. But this has to be a team effort, not just because the car is a situation that's a strain on you, but because you both have a baby on the way. And so there's this fire under you to get yourself financially stable, have a stable vehicle to be able to drive your baby home from the hospital in. So there's a more of an urgency than there would be otherwise if you were in this situation with the car and were not pregnant.
Does your boyfriend have debt?
No, he has zero debt.
That's good news. Okay. All right. I'm going to tell you what I'm really thinking. Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I care about you and I want you to win. I'm thinking about a 31-year-old Christina with a 10-year-old child. Okay? And I want her to be in a really, really good place. And I think the best way for that to happen is for you guys to quit playing house and be grown-ups and get married. You have a baby, you're playing house, and it's time for a young man to pull up his boots and go get 6 freaking jobs and take care of his family. And get rid of your stupid car and take care of his pregnant wife. And you all need to be married by Friday. And you guys need to get on with your life. And he needs to roll up his sleeves, man up now, and take the bit in his mouth and get this family taken care of. Because 5 minutes ago I had a 5-month pregnant woman on the phone who got messed over royally on a car, stuck in it. But now later in the conversation I got this young man standing here, and it's time for him to be that.
I got a question for you. What about EMT school? Is now the time for EMT school with everything they got going on, or does he pause EMT school?
He may have to. Yeah.
That's what stuck out to me is because like he's chasing a dream.
Primary goal is not his self-actualization;
right.
It's feeding his wife and his baby.
Well, that's what stuck out to me. I was like, it's not never on EMT school, but maybe this isn't the time for EMT school when you've got these more urgent things like a baby and a car loan.
Well, or maybe you're just not home much because you're in EMT school and you're still working 40 freaking hours.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm okay with that too.
Yeah.
I've done that kind of stuff when I was your age, Christina.
Yeah.
Lots of people have done that kind of stuff when I was your age. But you feel like a single mom over here.
Yeah.
And yet over on the other side, I've got this guy standing here. And it's just weird. I'm just going to say it out loud. And so I'm going to be Papa Dave here and love you and say, if you were my kid, that would have been my advice to you. The best way you can have an awesome 31-year-old version of you is you guys, let's do this in the right order here. It's a big deal. This is the Dave Ramsey Show.
Cliff and I joined Christian Healthcare Ministries because we really liked the concept of Christians sharing each other's burdens. And we really experienced that firsthand when Cliff was diagnosed with heart disease. It was just such a relief to know that financial burden was going to be taken care of.
CHM is the original and longest-serving health cost-sharing ministry. Get started today and check us out at chministries.org.
Thank you for joining us, America. Open phones at 888-825-5225. You jump in. We will talk. So, a study done about a decade ago says that you need to only do 3 things to avoid living in poverty. Graduate from high school, marry before having a child, and have that child after age 20. Only 8% of the people who do those 3 things fall into poverty. 79% who fail to do those 3 things in that order land in poverty. Those are statistics, not moral judgments. Mm-hmm. Graduate from high school, be married before you have a baby, and be over 20 before you have a baby. Pretty simple, basic life choices. And these studies go on from there that show, a 2014 report American Enterprise Institute did says that adjusting for family size, family income is 73% higher for married women than it is for women who are not married and living with someone. So as a woman's empowerment issue, there is a tremendous economic lift, statistically speaking, on average, when a lady is married. And so that last call that we take from that super young girl, she was 20 years old or 21 years old, right?
Yeah.
These decisions that you're making at that age, especially for women, there's what's called a marriage lift in economics too, that just shows that by and large more wealthy people are married than unmarried. And so there's some dynamic there, and it can't just simply be that there's 2 incomes.
Yeah.
The math could be the cause of that. We don't know the causation of it. The marriage is necessarily the causation. But there just seems to be something that when people are doing life together under the heading of marriage, that there's multiple studies that show that the probability of you not only avoiding poverty, but being more successful in your life.
Yeah, I think it's interesting how you always highlight the economic benefit to marriage, because I think people don't think of that. Now, let's talk about this. This is interesting, though, because in that example with Christina in that last call, I don't know if she wants to get married and just isn't, or if she didn't want to get married either. But there's an interesting dynamic where typically, and I know you can make some people mad with this, but typically the man proposes. And if you're talking 2 women who want to get married, who are in a relationship, what would you say to someone that wants to get married, but her husband hasn't, her boyfriend has not proposed? Because you don't want to be this needy nag that's like, well, where's my ring? But at the same time, you're like, what are we doing here? What does that look like in a practical way?
We're living together and having babies together, so it's kind of like, this is like, everything, the deal's already done. We just need to sign the deal.
Right.
And so this is not like you're dating and you're
trying to pressure
there's
him.
not a baby on the way and you've got independent lives financially, and then you're needy. That's not, that's a whole different conversation. But
I would say a lot of people in younger generations don't equate those things. And you get the calls all the time. They're perfectly fine living together and having babies and not being married. A lot of them do that. And so I don't think in their mind they equate, well, because we're doing this, we must get married, or it means we should get married, or we're going to get married. They're just kind of cool with it. I think some people think that. So what would you say to someone?
Well, let's continue reading some of these statistics, because I think it does address that.
Okay.
Only 4% of homes with a married mother and father are on food stamps at any given time. 21% of cohabitating and 28% of single mothers are on food stamps. So these are socioeconomic decisions that you control. And the reason is that a house divided against itself can't stand. When you're pulling at 2 ends of something, all you do is break it down.
Yeah.
You're not pulling in the same direction. You've not committed for the long haul, and so you make short-term decisions.
Yeah.
And it blows your money up. And it blows your career up, and it blows your parenting up, and it blows up everything.
Yeah.
And so, a goal in achieving the American dream, only 41% of cohabitating adults and 44% of singles actually own their own home, where 78% of married people own their own home. You're twice as likely to be a homeowner married. See, these are all wealth indicators. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so there's something going on here of the joining of forces versus shacking up.
Yeah.
And so, and people get all pissed off because, you don't have a right to tell me. I don't have a right to tell you anything. All you got to do is change the channel if you don't want me telling you stuff. Because you're here because I'm going to tell you stuff. That's why we call this the Dave Ramsey Show. If you want somebody else to tell you stuff, get somebody else. But, there is a problem here that we've just ignored because everybody's so afraid to address this because it's a moral issue as well, a spiritual issue as well.
It is, but I want to clarify something, or I want you to explain this to me. You're speaking to the issue of cohabitating. You're not speaking just to the issue of singleness, because the issue of singleness, you can't really totally control that.
No, I'm not. You're exactly.
Okay,
exactly.
I want to clarify that,
And having babies outside of wedlock, old-fashioned phrase, okay? But the statistical evidence is it's disastrous for your life.
Yeah, the numbers show it.
The numbers show it.
Yeah.
And so, there's something to a shotgun wedding.
Or like you told Christina, by Friday.
You get her pregnant, daddy comes up with a shotgun, you're going to marry her. That's old school hillbilly stuff, right? But there's something to that because what it does is it sets you up not in the moment.
Yeah.
But it sets you up for a pattern of decisions going forward that cause your next 10 years. You're twice as likely to be a homeowner. You are 10x less likely to be on welfare.
Yeah.
That's pretty dramatic.
It is, and the numbers show it. What's interesting, and I don't think we have the data on this, but I'm curious because you get calls a lot of times too, Dave, and this may not be as common, but you see a pattern where people are married but not working as a team. They've got their own bank accounts. They've got their hidden debts. They've got all this stuff. And you're seeing an economic disaster in their, even though they're married, because they're not working as a team. Exactly. You're seeing the house crumble in on itself because of the behavior. But what's so interesting is when you have the commitment of marriage, the structure of marriage, the teamwork element, you're forced to work as a team. It's much more conducive to those results you're talking about because you have committed, you're putting things together, and you're working as a team. If you don't, it's still going to be a problem.
Yeah.
If you're not a team.
It's just for your own daughter, you got to look at her and go, if he gets the warmth of your bed, he gets the 26% car loan.
Yeah.
These things go together, baby doll.
Yeah. Why are you calling in the Dave Ramsey show stressed out about your 26% interest and he's chasing EMT school? I'm not against EMT school, but I'm like, it feels like he is moving forward with his goals and you are trying to clean up problems in the past. We need to reconcile these two.
Yeah, and then make decisions as a team
together as
to what's good for the team, the family unit. And most of all, for this baby that's on the way.
That's right. There's such an urgency because of that.
And so I want you guys out there to hear, this is not holier than thou. Mm-hmm. This is not talking down to someone. There are some economic and statistical details and indicators that are really not arguable. That you're swimming upstream against.
Well, you can disagree with the morality. You can disagree with your stance or religious stance or moral stance, and the numbers still don't change the results economically.
Exactly. There was no indication. I didn't bring up church attendance.
Yeah.
But by the way, that does enter into also a wealth building thing, but a higher likelihood. Regular worship attendance. Whether you're Christian, Jewish, Muslim, regular worship attendance is correlated with a higher probability of building wealth because of character is being built. And, it's a pretty simple things when you think about it. But you cannot leave these things separate from, I'm just going to ask a math question. Doesn't work. Sorry, guys. This is how it is. We love you guys. We want you to win. This is the Dave Ramsey Show. Folks, it's an honor to tell you about the Army National Guard. Not only are they big supporters of our high school curriculum, but they also give you the opportunity to impact your local communities. Whether your goals are to get an education, serve your country, or have a better life, the Army National Guard can help get you there.
Plus, they offer unbelievable financial benefits. Secure your future today. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
Christy Wright, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. You jump in. We'll talk about your life and your money. Carla is with us in Los Angeles. Hi, Carla. How are you?
Hi, Dave. How are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
Going off your last segment, actually, I am a single mom, and what I call all your gems in the last 3 years have helped me pay off $11,200 in credit card debt. And
Proud of you. Way to go.
In my student loans.
Wow.
There you go.
So thank you for your gems.
I'm proud of you. Well
Changed
done.
my life completely.
Good.
That's
I'm
amazing.
glad we were able to help you.
Thank you. So my question is now I'm kind of scared. I have some money saved up. I've got about $52,000 saved up. And here in Los Angeles, they're allowing ADUs, which is converting your garage into like a unit that you can rent.
Mm-hmm.
And in my area, about a 500 square foot garage is renting out for anywhere from $1,200 to $1,600.
Wow.
It will take about $30,000 though to convert my garage into, for it to have its own bathroom, its own kitchen, and its own living space with, all the legalizations of the city.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if that's something I want to do. Is that a smart investment for me? Is that something that I can capitalize on? And I do also have one thing that's haunting me from my past is a lease that I got 4 years ago. That lease is going to be up in December. So that I know I'm going to need about $10,000. I'm going to buy a car. I'm going to have to use about $10,000 to just flat out buy a car. So I'll be, needing a lot of money there. And I only have about $52,000. So I don't know if that's a smart move for me to do.
What's your household income?
In 2020, I made $141,000.
Good for you. And the car lease is up when?
November, December.
Okay. Well, you're a saving maniac, so you could have some more money saved by then, right?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, to save more.
Yeah.
So I have a more cushion, and I'm just scared to deplete all of that.
So here would be my goal, and I would lay the math out and see if you can do it. I want you to have an emergency fund of 3 to 6 months of expenses at all times in this discussion. You currently do, for sure. So let's set that number. I'll just make one up, and let's call that $25,000, okay? I don't care if you make it 35, you can make it whatever. And that means you've got $27,000 left over after that, okay?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And so you can start your project immediately if it's $30,000. And it does make mathematical sense to do that because you're going to increase the value of your home and you're going to make all your money back with additional rent within 2 years.
Right. And I'm not planning to move because I cannot afford a home out here where I'm living currently. Another home, the prices are just crazy high.
Yeah. But I mean, your home will go up in value some, maybe not $30,000, but maybe more than $30,000. I don't know what it'll do to it by doing this. And you're going to make $30,000 more in 2 years.
Okay.
About $18,000 a month. About $18,000. $1,500 a month is $18,000 a year. Okay.
Okay.
So, yeah, we're going to do this project. Right. I think it's a great project.
I'm going to do it.
And I think you start it immediately, and you set $25,000 aside as your emergency fund, and you cash flow, you make sure that other $2,000 or whatever you got there. And then between now and November, you've just got to save up for your car, and you can do that.
I can. Okay, thank you so much. I'm just scared, but I'm going to go for it.
Well,
thank you for everything. You've helped me.
If you follow the plan we just laid out, you won't.
Yeah, you've got the savings. It's just the unknown. It's the unknown, it's the risk, it's the new that feels scary. You've got the money there and you've got a plan to save more money, Carla. So if you look at the numbers don't lie. You're in a good position to do this.
And you feel competent to manage the rental without any fears around that, right?
because I'm a single mom, it does worry me, but I'm a nurse, so my plan was actually to rent out to travel nurses that travel out there to the LA area, because I see they're always asking for, do you guys know anyone who's renting out, a room that has a small kitchen and bathroom, because they get stipends. So I'm planning to have.
Yeah, so I think you pick someone that goes in there based on safety as well as their ability to pay.
Yeah, and if you're doing short term like that, you should be able to make. I don't know what location you're in, Carla, but typically when you've got short term rentals like that, it makes even more than that.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So, but yeah, I think that's a perfect idea, that you're not going to rent to
just anybody.
To intimidating whatevers, right?
Yeah. Or parties or whatever. Yeah. And with word of mouth in your industry, you know nurses, people are always asking. Word gets out that you've got a cute place and you're a great host. Oh my gosh. I think once word spreads, you'll have no problem filling that with good, safe people doing exactly what you want to do, which is helping traveling nurses. I think that's awesome.
You need to do some research and get a proper lease, a copy of a lease that you can use. And you need to learn from some property managers and some other people. Just talk to people around there that do that on how to qualify a tenant, make sure that they're going to pay, so you don't just take their word for it, and make sure they get a deposit, and obviously it's someone that you feel the safety part of is going to be more than adequate. But yeah, the travel nurse idea is a wonderful idea.
Yeah. And I would say because it's your garage right there, set some boundaries around. I mean, it's right there. You're right there. So just set some boundaries around that.
Even if it's travel nurse, you don't want party travel nurse.
You don't want anybody showing up at your house.
You don't want her throwing parties over there all the time, and you got little kids.
Yeah.
I mean, so this ain't Party Central. So it's someone with a value system that matches up that you want to have next door. Almost as if you would have them as a roommate.
Roommate, yes. Because it kind of is. I mean, they're right there.
Yeah, and with your baby there, too. Julianne is with us in Florence, South Carolina. Hi, Julianne. How are you?
Hey, Dave. Hey, Christy.
Hey, what's going on?
I'm so happy to talk with Dave. Yes. Okay. I am a Christian fiction author. And first of all, Dave, I want to say how much you have helped me with money. And Christy, you have given me such confidence in moving forward with these novels. I just want to say thank you up front.
That's awesome.
I started out writing some short stories. I put my short stories on Facebook, and my Facebook friends were like, Julianne, girl, you have got to write a novel. So 2019, I took the plunge. I wrote The Christmas No One Expected. 2020, I wrote The Renter Next Door and A Date on the Nantahala. So far, I am self-publishing on Amazon. I'm selling on my Facebook business page. I got about 600 followers there. I've got them in a handful of stores, and I set up at vendors as a vendor at festivals and so forth. I've got some awesome feedback from my readers at this point. I'm super excited. I plan to write another 2 novels a year. I'm on track for that. Dave, I hear you say a lot how you started selling books out of the trunk of your car. And Christy, I know you do such a fabulous job at helping women in business. And I just wondered if either of you had any advice for me in getting these novels off the ground just a little bit more.
Well, they're off the ground.
Yeah. Here's what's awesome and hard, Julianne, about what you're doing as a self-published author and all that. What's awesome about it is you're doing everything yourself, so you can control it and you can do whatever you want to. The hard part is you're doing everything yourself, so you're not just wearing the author hat. You're also wearing the marketer hat, and it sounds like you've been spending a lot of time wearing the author hat. You've been writing a lot, and you've got plans to write more, which is awesome, but we've got to spend a little bit of time, at least, to wear the marketing hat. And that marketing hat looks like getting these books in front of eyeballs, because it doesn't matter how awesome your books are. If no one knows about them, they can't buy them. And so I would say I would start exploring other outlets. I don't know if you have a blog, but even putting excerpts of your books on a blog, on your social media, on your, not just on your Facebook page, but can you put samples where like every Monday you give a little bit of the story and you're like, what happened? What happened to the character? What happened next? And you're waiting till next Monday to get the next piece of the story. Give them samples. You've got to get your writing out there where people actually want to buy the book. They're interested. If you watch me right now, Julianne, I'm doing this, Dave. Every few days a week, I go live on Instagram and I share an excerpt of my devotional, Living True 40 Days to Get Back to You. It's to give people a sample to go, hey, remember I've got this devotional. Hey, hey, you're not sure if it's for you? Let me give you a sample. You got to get it out there in the marketing, Julianne, if people are going to buy it. I love that you're great at writing and you love writing, but you got to market also if people are going to buy it.
And I like the initiative you've shown. You've scratched around and
yes.
you pulled this thing out there you got her done. I mean, you got the Amazon account set up. You got the bookstore account. You've done really well. You just keep scratching and clawing and hustle and grind like you're doing. I think you're going to be just fine. But yeah, it's all about allocating some marketing time and dollars out of your budget. This is the Dave Ramsey Show. Ramsey personality, #1 best-selling author of the book Business Boutique and the best-selling devotional Living True 40 Days to Get Back to You is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Paul is in Atlanta. Hey, Paul, welcome to the Dave Ramsey Show.
Dave, thank you so much for taking my call. I just want to tell you this means a lot to me to be able to ask you a couple questions.
Well, we're honored. How can we help?
Dave, back in the summer, in August, I contracted COVID, and I wound up being in a hospital for almost 3 months.
Ooh.
I was on life support for 3 weeks. I was in a coma for over a month, in ICU for almost a month after that.
Man.
Racked up over $1 million in hospital debt. Thankfully, I had insurance, so I wasn't responsible for paying all of that. I've paid off my portion of it since then. Also got married to the person that was standing beside me through everything. And before I get started on my question, on the break, you mentioned the importance of a will, and I 100% agree, but I also had another document that saved my life. It was an advance medical directive.
Yes.
Where I spelled out my wishes if I got to the point where I could make any decisions, because I refused going on the ventilator 4 different times. And when I first went to the hospital, I told them who was appointed in my directive, and they actually contacted this person, and they authorized them to save my life.
Wow.
So if it hadn't been for that document, I wouldn't be here now.
Wow.
And also the Lord. I mean, he's the most powerful reason I'm here. So after I got out of the hospital, I decided to get married. I'd been engaged for a while. And since then, we bought a home. We got married in December. I bought the home right before we got married. I've sold my other house, and I'm trying to decide what to do with the money. I have not been very smart with finances in my lifetime. I have no debt. Fortunately, my granddad always told me to, pay for stuff as I went and not accrue a lot of credit cards and things like that. But I've just been a typical person, and I've just blown my money like crazy. Like I said, I just was introduced to you after I got out of the hospital, and just a few weeks ago, as a matter of fact, by a friend.
Wow.
So I'm selling this house for $200,000. Mm-hmm. I've got it sold. I'm supposed to close on it in just a few days. Mm-hmm. And I've got some other rental property. I owe $400,000 on the mortgage on the house I'm in now. I put about $25,000 down on it when I first bought it.
Okay.
So I'm trying to decide what the smart thing to do is, because after that bout this fall and everything, it really changed my perspective on life.
Sure. What a deal you've been through, brother. What a wild year. The best of times and the worst of times. He gets married, gets a house, and gets COVID. Oh, my gosh, and not in that order. Wow. So, and a really bad bout with COVID to boot. But
yes, sir.
So the $200,000 property that's selling, is it paid for?
It is.
So you're going to clear approximately $200,000 plus minus some expenses. All right, good.
Yes, sir.
Good. And you owe $400 on your house, and the rentals, what do you owe on them?
They're all paid for.
Good. That's awesome. Okay.
It sounds like you have done well with money, Paul. You said you've made a lot of mistakes with money. You have no debt. You got some paid for houses. I don't know. I hear some good things happening.
I don't know. I think if I'd have been introduced to you guys 20 years ago, I'd be a millionaire. But I listen to people talk about it on your show, because I've listened to a lot of podcasts since I was introduced to you, and I wish I was there.
Well, you will be. You're on your way. You're in really good shape. What's your household income?
I do about $140,000, and she does right at almost $50,000.
Okay, so a couple $100,000 there. Very good, very good. All right, so basically, we're going to do what we always do here, and that's walk up the baby steps. You're debt-free except your home. Do you have an emergency fund?
I do.
How much is in it?
About $45,000.
Perfect. Do you have any investments that are not retirement investments and not these rental properties?
No.
So you don't have any money in a 401k or anything like that?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said I apologize. Yes, I do. I looked at it shortly before I went in the hospital, and I just started a job a few years ago. That first time I've had a paid job. I've been just doing things on my own for a while. I think I've got about $70,000 in that.
Okay, but you don't have any non-retirement investments at all, right?
No.
Good, except these houses. Excellent. Okay.
Yes.
Well, perfect. Well, that puts you at baby step 4. You would start putting 15% of your household income away for retirement. That comes out of your budget. 5 is kids' college. Are there any kids involved that need to be sent to college?
I've already said my kids are.
That's done.
My kids through college.
Okay. Then the only thing left is to pay off your home. That's baby step 6. And so any money you can find beyond putting 15% of your income into retirement and living is going to go into the paying off your house, and that includes the $200,000 here. So I suspect you'll have a paid-for home and 2 paid-for rental properties. If you put $200 down, that leaves you $200 to go, making $200. 3 years, 4 years, you'll have that house paid for. And that's what I would do, is just walk you right up those baby steps into millionaire status, and you're going to get really, really close really, really fast. He's done well.
Yeah, it's impressive, too, because it's so interesting to hear all the things he's done right, and it's so easy to focus on, oh, well, maybe I didn't do as well here. It's like, gosh, you've done a ton of things really, really well. I mean, that's impressive. He's in a great spot. And, yeah, the millionaire, that's around the corner for you. So that's awesome.
Andi is in Pittsburgh. Hi, Andi. Welcome to the Dave Ramsey Show.
Hi, Dave. I am honored to talk to you. I am thrilled. My main question, well, 2 things. Number 1, I hate debt. And number 2, I hate divorce. My main question is about buying out my soon-to-be ex. It is not where I want to be at age 52. He decided, we were married for 20 years, he decided he didn't want to be married anymore, and he moved out. The kids, I have 2 daughters. They were one was in college, one was in high school at the time. They're both grown and graduated from college now.
He moved out 4 years ago?
Pardon me?
He moved out 4 years ago?
5 years ago.
Have you been divorced that long, or you're not divorced yet?
No, we're not divorced yet. He left and then did nothing about it. And I've been scared, very emotionally dependent on nothing. Like, our marriage is done. No desire to get back together. I'm scared to get divorced. I don't believe in it. I hate it. I hate the thought of it. I hate the word, all of that.
I agree with you, but you've been divorced for 5 years. You just hadn't admitted it yet.
Right. And I think I'm finally accepting it now.
Yeah.
So I kind of went forward and said, I need some closure, and we talked about it. My life has just been up and down. I worked for the airline for 20 years, then lost my job there, went back to school to be a teacher, again, paid along the way.
What are you doing now?
Right now, I am working at a cyber school as a secretary. I haven't been able to find a job as a teacher, but I have a teaching degree. Mm-hmm. So right now I'm making $25,000 a year, and then I take on 6 kids to tutor, to teach reading.
Good. What do you owe on this house?
Well, it's worth about $210,000, and we paid it off. I worked very, very hard to pay it off. Mm-hmm. And then when he left, he took $30,000 out of it in a home equity and bought himself a car and an apartment and all this stuff.
So there's a $30,000 home equity loan on it.
Right. It's $25,000 now.
Okay. Well, that obviously comes out of his share.
Right. We talked about it, and this, I guess, is my main question for you. Our house is worth about $210,000. Mm-hmm. I don't want to leave the home. I'm living here. Both of my kids are old and on their way. All are gone. So the deal we talked about was that he would give me $100,000 of his 401k, And then I would take over the $25,000 home equity and also give him $50,000.
That sounds like a reasonable deal. You're buying out his half for $75,000, and you get half his 401k. And this mess is cleaned up. Yeah. So you're going to have a $75,000 mortgage is what you're going to go get. So go to your credit union and get a $75,000 mortgage on as short a term as you can possibly stand. Maybe 5 years, maybe 7 years, maybe 10 years. You won't need a 15-year on that. It's a small loan. Go to your local credit union with no closing costs and get that loan. And you should be able to get that. And then let's work to get that paid off. My goodness. I'm sorry. This is the Dave Ramsey Show. Welcome to the Dave Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's the Dave Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. I am Dave Ramsey, your host. Thank you for joining us, America. Open phones at 888-825-5225. That's 888-825-5225. You jump in. We'll talk about your life and your money. Christy Wright, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. You jump in and we'll talk with you about your life and your money. She, of course, talks with ladies all the time in all categories of life and was originally known for being the creator of Business Boutique, equipping women to make money doing what they love. Her latest bestseller is a devotional, 40 Days to Get Back to You, and it's called Living True. And so check that out as well. Again, we did a devotional. We didn't know it was going to be a bestseller, but it was. Look at that. There you go. All right, CJ is with us in Denver to start off this hour. Hi, CJ. How are you?
Hi, Dave. I'm good. How are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
So I was just hoping to get your advice on a car situation. I bought a car 10 months ago for cash, and the transmission is now going out.
What'd you pay for it?
My question is, I paid $4,200 cash.
Mm-hmm. What is it?
It's a 2011 Kia Rio.
Mm-hmm.
So I bought it with like 86,000 miles because based on my research, they're known to go into the hundreds of thousands of miles. So I figured it would be cheap, kept me from, getting a car loan.
Mm-hmm.
I keep focusing on my baby step 2.
So what's the transmission doing?
So it's not shifting. I took it into the dealership, and they told me it could go in a month or it could go in 5 years. There's no telling when it's going to go, but they confirmed it's the early symptoms. It doesn't know what gear to be in. So it shifts really hard from first into second, stop and go traffic in Denver. It will kind of glitch and it almost feels like it's stalling out, and then it catches.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to drive it until it goes.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if I save to replace the transmission, which will be $2,000 to $3,000, or if I save to replace the car entirely.
All right, let's do a couple things. One is we need opinions and bids from people other than the dealer. The dealer is the most expensive place to get a car fixed.
Okay.
So we need to find a quality, independent mechanic in your area and go in, have them look at it and say, this is what we do. I mean, tell me what we've got to do here. You sound like you're single the way you're talking this through.
Yes, I am.
Okay. Do you have family in the area?
No.
Are you in a good church?
Yes.
Okay. Not because you're not capable, but because sometimes people in car repair places will treat a lady differently than a man. Was that diplomatic?
It's just the truth.
I would have a guy from the church or a guy from work just come hang out with you and just stand there while the guy's talking to you. You can do all the talking, but and that doesn't always happen. But you might get a different answer, and it's enough of a chance that I'm going to add that step to this. Okay.
Okay.
And you're hearing me loud and clear. It's not because I think you're not capable of getting to the bottom of this. I just want you to get the real story and not get somebody think they can take you, take you. And so go get a couple of different people to look at it and give you a couple of different scenarios. There's 3 possibilities: brand new on the transmission, rebuilt, which is way less expensive than brand new. Or worst case scenario, and really might be a possibility here, is to buy a transmission from a junkyard that comes out of a wrecked Kia and they install it. And that's probably going to be, 25 to 30% of new price. Now, once you've gotten all those numbers, here's the formula that you use. You need one other number. You need to try to figure out from somebody what you can sell that car for like it is right now. Okay, so you paid $4,200 for it. It's got a bad transmission. They're going to drive it, and they're going to go, "Oh, it's got a bad transmission." So we will give you ... for it. Let's call that $2,000. Okay.
Okay.
If you can sell it as is for $2,000, and your repair is $3,000, that's $5,000 you're going to have in a $4,200 car. We're not doing that. We're going to sell it as is, take the $2,000 and put some transmission money that you were going to spend on a transmission with it and buy another car.
Okay.
You follow me?
Yep.
But if the sale as is $500 and the repair is $1,500, then that gets you in there for $2,000. And at the end of this story, you've got a $4,000 car, then you would do that repair.
Mm-hmm.
So repair plus as is value should not be more than $4,200 if it is sell the car as is.
Okay.
You get the formula?
Yep, I got it.
But you got to, in a car this cheap and this old, you want to put the cheapest possible fix in it. You do not want to, this is not you do not want to spend money on this fix. You want the cheapest transmission, even, so like a Kia that got in a car wreck and totaled that had 20,000 miles on it, they pull the transmission out of it at the junkyard, salvage yard, whatever phrase you want to use, right? And then the local mechanic sticks it in there for you. And now you got a 20,000 mile transmission in your car, used transmission, but that's going to be way cheaper, I think, than rebuilt, and I know way cheaper than new.
The other step I would throw in there, CJ, is, and I'm sure you'll do this anyway, but just ask for referrals for those mechanics to begin with. Even if you take someone with you, ask for referrals, because you're going to have a much better chance of getting someone trusted, someone good, someone honest, someone that's going to tell you your options, shoot you straight, and not try to take advantage of you if you go from, you've got a friend or family member, someone in your church says, hey, you got to go to my guy down on this road because he's awesome, he's honest, I've gone to him for 20 years.
Yeah,
that's who I use for my cars, someone that referred me, and he's honest, and I stick with him.
If there's a guy at the church that's an elder, or you're, somebody at your workplace that's a person of strong character, they know that, and they say what Christy said, then they don't need to go with you. They can just call their guy and say, hey, I'm sending CJ down there. You take really good care of her. She's my little sister. I'm going to box your ears if you don't. Okay? Mm-hmm. That's the kind of, if you can get that kind of referral, then I'm fine with not taking somebody with you. But if you're going stranger to stranger, then, let's just work this from every possible angle.
Can't hurt.
Yeah, work this from every possible angle, and I think you're very capable of getting this done. I'll give you a prediction that you're going to sell the car as is and you're not going to fix it. But I want you to do the research to make sure I'm right, because I'm not positive I'm right. And when you have all those numbers in front of you and you go, okay, I can sell the car today for this, I can fix it for this, this, or this, the answer is going to be bing right there in front of you, which one to do. And we gave you the formula on how to figure it out. You got this, kiddo. Thank you for calling. This is the Dave Ramsey Show.
What makes our show unique is that we genuinely care about our listeners. We're intentional about choosing the best advertisers to recommend. Blinds.com is no exception. They offer high-quality window treatments at unbelievable prices. And they make it simple to shop blinds, shades, and interior shutters with easy online ordering, free shipping, and a guaranteed perfect fit. Go to Blinds.com and take advantage of this week's special savings.
Auto insurance companies love to play the game where they see just how high they can jack up your rates before you leave. Because they want your money, right? Well, good news is it's not hard to beat them at their own game. All you got to do is check on your policy every year or two and make sure you're getting the best price for your coverage. That's all you got to do. It's real easy. You can hire one of our endorsed local providers. Go to ELP for Insurance, and the independent agents there will shop among a gazillion different companies and get the best possible price for you. When you're buying insurance, always use an independent company because they'll get you the best deal. Our guys, on average, on their car and homeowners are saving $700 a year by having these guys shop for you because they don't work for the insurance company, they work for you. It's real easy. And I got to tell you, you can beat your State Farm price. You can beat your nationwide price because they got one product. They got one company that they can sell for. And so, of course, they think it's the best, but it's not. And it's not the best price for sure. So text the word auto to 33789, and you can get a trusted ELP agent going in your area. That's auto. Text auto to 33789. This is the Dave Ramsey Show. Christy Wright, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Justin is in Philadelphia. Hi, Justin. Welcome to the Dave Ramsey Show.
Hey, Dave. How you doing?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Well, before I get to my question, I just want to thank you for everything that you're putting out there. I found about 2 years ago, we were about $97,000 in debt, my wife and I. We are $8,000 away from paying that off. It'll probably be around the springtime, and it'll be
way to go.
One of the greatest days of my life. Besides meeting my wife and the birth of my daughter, we can't wait for that day to get here.
Cool.
So what brings me to my question is, I have a state pension, and I can retire in about 12 years. And when I retire, I will get about $94,000 a year from that pension.
Wow.
So my question is, how do I calculate that into my my net worth? Because I hope in a few more years I can call you and Chris back and tell you that I'm a millionaire.
I love it. I hope you are. That's the way to go. Well, I mean, there's kind of two answers to it. For purposes of the technical answer is it's not part of your net worth because it's not an asset. You don't own it. Okay, But the real world answer then, aside from the technical accounting answer, is that you're obviously going to get $94,000 a year off of it, so that's pretty cool, right? There's two possible ways, if you just kind of want to track it for your own purposes, there's two possible ways you can look at that. Do they give you any kind of a cash value or a rollout number if you were to roll it over? Do you have a lump sum if you leave or anything like that you can take?
No. So if you leave after 10 years, you would get like 35%, and then if you leave after 20 years, you get 50%, and then the max is 65% after 25 years.
Okay, and that's that. But that percentage is not the lump. Is that the lump sum?
No, so you would get 65%
that's of your income, right?
Your base salary.
Yeah. Okay. All right. No. All right, so that way doesn't work to calculate it. Other than that, we would be guessing. Okay. I can give you a method to kind of guess at it. So you're going to get $94,000 in 10 more years. If you did that at 7%, That would probably mean that you had $1.5 million in there. Okay, if you had $1.5 million invested at 7%, it would create $94,000 a year. Okay, roughly. I'm doing this in my head, but that's pretty close. All right, and so if you wanted to calculate what it's worth today, you would ask yourself. You'd have to put into an investment calculator what not $1.5 million as a future value, 7%, and 10 years, and ask the investment calculator what the present value of that is. And that's going to be $600,000, $700,000 is about what it's worth today.
Okay.
So that's a guess, but that's the formula you would use if you really wanted to back into it, because most of their calculations are going to be done at either 6 or 7%. So if you're getting 94, that's like having a lump sum that's paying you 94 on 7%. But that's not for 10 more years, so it's got to grow to that, and at 7%, it'll double about every 10 years.
Well, I actually estimated up to retirement, it's going to be about 94. It's not what it is now. If I retire now, it would be about...
No, I'm saying if you retire in 10 years, it would be 94.
Correct, yes.
And if you calculate that on 7%, that means that would, in order to create $94,000 income, at 7%, you'd need $1.5 million or so.
Okay. Now, would you do anything extra for investment purposes? I have a 457B.
Yes. I would do a couple of Roth IRAs. That's what I would do on you and your wife, and be loading those up as you go. So you've got some money that's not just in the pension, because you don't have any control over this pension. How good it does, whether they keep it solvent, is the state well run? Most of them aren't well run. Most of them aren't in trouble in terms of losing your pension, but they're really most of them do a pretty crummy job of running the thing. So all of that to say, I want some money in my name that I'm controlling in addition to this. It's a wonderful benefit if it all comes out the way it's supposed to, and it probably will, actually. So good stuff, man. Thanks for calling in.
That was fun watching you do that. Just watch. I was just sitting here. I was like, okay, and his mind is just calculating these percentages right here in real time.
I may be off. I may be way off.
Someone get me a calculator.
I think I was getting pretty close. I think I was getting close. All right, open phones at 888-825-5225. Jason's in Spokane. Hi, Jason. How are you?
Good. Hi, Dave and Christy. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
How can we help?
So my wife and I are on baby step 7, and we have no debt, including our house. I've got 3 rental properties that are also paid for.
Way to go.
Wow.
Thank you. We've got about $140,000 extra, which is in my real estate rental business. And I don't want to take on any debt to buy another property, but it's just kind of sitting there. And our market here right now is so tight that I'm not interested in buying anything to flip. I want to buy something for a rental, but I don't want to take on debt to do it. So the 140 is just sitting, stagnating. I'm not sure really what to do with it, and looking for some advice to invest it and maybe help it grow, or what to do with it.
When you said you're not interested in taking on another rental property, not ever, or just not right now because it's just 140?
No, I want to keep buying rentals, but I want to pay cash for it. So I don't want to use the 140 as a down payment.
Right.
Debt right now.
What's a rental cost in your area?
I guess a decent one that's not a fixer is going to be around $300 and $350.
Okay. All right. So we got a little ways to go to add to that 140, and it'd be nice if it was growing during that time, is all we're saying, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly how I do it. And what I use is an S&P 500. It's a growth stock mutual fund, but it's very predictable. It's going to do exactly what the stock market does. You know what an S&P 500 index fund is?
I do.
Okay. No load, so there's no commission. And the money, if this money sits in there over a year, whatever gains there are will be taxed at your capital gains rate of 15%, not ordinary income.
So will that be treated any differently? Because that money's held in a business account, and if can a business invest in a mutual fund separately, and
yes.
Is that treated any differently?
Yes. Well, no, it's in a business account, but it's an LLC, isn't it?
That's right.
Yeah, you can pass that out to you personally, drop it into the account, and you put it in your name, and then when you pull it back out of that account to fund the LLC buying rentals, you'll be just fine, and that'll keep you from getting taxed. You don't want to run the LLC on the capital gains, I don't think. Check your tax advisor, but I don't think so. I pull it out, do it personally, and then I throw it back into an LLC to fund the purchase is what I do. Hey man, thanks for the call. Well done.
Yeah.
Folks, it's an honor to tell you about the Army National Guard. Not only are they big supporters of our high school curriculum, but they also give you the opportunity to impact your local communities. Whether your goals are to get an education, serve your country, or have a better life, the Army National Guard can help get you there. Plus, they offer unbelievable financial benefits. Secure your future today. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
Open phones at 888-825-5225. Well, 2020 was crazy, and your 2020 taxes may be a bit more complicated because of that. If you drew unemployment at any point last year, keep in mind you have to pay taxes on it this year. Unemployment checks are taxable income. Another big thing to keep in mind is remote working. If you left your resident state to remote work in another state, you may have to pay state taxes to two states. Isn't always the case, but you got to have somebody help you figure that out so you don't get caught sideways with these guys. So you may want to use our new tax software if you have a simple return, Ramsey Smart Tax. And it's pretty stinking incredible. $17 will help you do your whole filing. Brand new. We just launched that this week. And so if you got a simple return, that's what you do. But if you've got crazy stuff going on in a crazy year, you may want a pro doing your taxes for you. So either way, you can text Tax Quiz to find out what's going on with your tax situation to 33789. Take our tax quiz. That's Tax Quiz, no spaces, to 33789. Gene is with us in Lexington, Kentucky. Hi, Gene. How are you?
Hi, Dave. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
I have a question. I am going to receive a nice inheritance, approximately $175,000. I would like to keep this in my name so that my children can be the beneficiaries. I'd also like to hold it in case my mother needs more money for her care in the next couple years. And I'd like to keep this just private in that my husband doesn't know a lot about this. What would you suggest I do?
Gene, we got to dig in. We got to dig into that. Why do we not want the husband to know?
Just a precarious relationship, and there's never been any respect for my family, and I really don't want him to have any part of this should it happen. So, that's the way it is. Been that way for a long time. So,
how long have you been married?
Over 50 years.
Mm. Okay. I don't think it is. I don't think it is healthy to hide things from spouses. I don't think it's healthy for you. I don't think it's healthy for him. If you want to set it aside where he doesn't have any access to it, that's very possible. And you can, but not telling him about it is that's not good. That's deceiving, and you don't want to be that person. And I'm not going to participate in helping you do that because I think that's wrong.
Well,
but
I know owe that. I just knew that, I don't think he would let me handle it or, have it.
He doesn't have a choice.
Yeah, this language is what's concerning, Gene. I mean, I know y'all have been married a long time, and it sounds like there's been layers of problems for a long time, but he won't let me with this money that you're getting for your family. I don't.
How old are you?
I'm over 70.
Okay. All right. Well, what I would tell you to do is to contact an estate planning attorney and talk about how you can put this into a trust of some kind that you are in control of. And it's really not up to him. He doesn't have a let you part in this, except that he emotionally rules over you, it sounds like. But, what this is pointing out is that you don't have a precarious relationship. You have a horrible relationship. That's what this is pointing out.
You don't trust your husband, and you don't feel safe with him.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not trying to exaggerate it, but you don't feel safe to tell him something that is happening in your life.
Well, and for fear that he's going to, quote, take over.
Right. He's not going to let you take care of your mom or your kids.
From a legal and a account perspective, he doesn't really have control. The check would come to you. You open up an account. You set it in a trust. You can put it in a simple bank account if you want to, but it's in your name. He has absolutely no access to it. Now, you're going to want to be sure you have a will so that the money goes to your children, as you said, and that he doesn't get any control of it. And that's one of the reasons to set it up as a trust. Then the trust can transfer to your children, and there's, it's almost impossible for him to break into that with a will. If you have a will and a trust and the money's in trust and it's, you're the trustee, it's in control, you're in control of it, or somebody's the trustee, you're the beneficiary, whatever, however your estate planner tells you to set it up. But you need to go see an estate planning attorney, and you're going to spend $3,000 to $5,000 on documents, a will, a trust, and you're going to get some legal advice on how to do this in a way where it all stays in your name, where you're in complete control of it. But he doesn't have any legal access to this money unless you give it to him. And so, but honey, you got other stuff going on here. There's a lot of fish frying on this one discussion, and this is not really about the $175,000. This is about the quality of your life.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Would you recommend counseling? I mean, they've been married 50 years. Like, it's kind of like, not like it's like too far gone, but it's like, do you think he would even be open to?
I have no idea. I mean, it couldn't hurt.
Right. But it's like,
hurt.
To your point, you don't need to live your life this way, Gene. You don't need to live in fear, whether it's about an inheritance conversation or anything.
Mm-hmm.
That you don't need to live like that. Like, there needs to be these issues. I would love to see you get help with them.
Mm-hmm.
Get him to get help with them.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if you've been married 50 years.
If you're in a good church, you ought to sit down with your pastor and have this discussion.
Yeah.
With or without him.
Yeah.
And then, but as far as the, you shouldn't have, from a legal perspective, he has absolutely no access to the money unless you give it to him, if you do what I'm talking about. Now, if you just go open up a bank account, you can get into all kinds of different issues then. So I'm going to say, let's put it into trust, and let's have a will, and then that'll dictate what happens to the money.
Yeah, Gene, I would, yeah. If there's something you didn't say where you don't want to tell him because you're scared to tell him for more, you need to have some, some help, some support through this. If there's something where you're scared to tell him for other reasons, you need to have some extra support through this.
Amen.
In case there's something you didn't say.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, you need to sit down with your pastor this week, and let's get some people around you and figure out what the flip's really going on here. Ouch. Joel is with us in Omaha, Nebraska. Hi, Joel. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing good. Thanks for having me, Dave and Christy. Pleasure.
Sure. How can we help?
Hey, I'm a self-employed carpenter contractor in a small rural community. I started this business about 4 years ago, and so far I haven't hired any employees, and just looking for some advice or wisdom on making that jump.
I'm sorry, say that again.
He's trying to decide whether to hire employees.
Oh.
In his carpentry business.
Yeah.
And hiring the first one.
Yeah. Are you maxed out? What's the demand like right now? What's your business like?
It fluctuates with the seasons, of course, but physically, I know I can't do that by myself forever.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, I've got a small market, so I don't know.
Yeah. Emotionally, hiring your first employee is the hardest, and financially, it's the hardest. And obviously, whatever you're going to pay this person, you need to have some money stashed back to make sure you can honor your word and that the paycheck's clear. And on top of that, you need to be looking at it and say, if I'm going to pay this person, $30,000 a year, I got to make more than $30,000 a year extra because they're around. And that's called a return on investment on your payroll. And so that's the hardest one to do is the first one. The second one's easier, the third one's easier, the fourth one's easier, and so on. Because you get better at the whole process. This is the Dave Ramsey Show. Right, Ramsey Personality is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. So we took the call about the gentleman wanting to hire his first team members, but I'm still stuck with the 70-plus-year-old lady in Lexington who is in obviously a very dysfunctional marriage.
Yeah. Been married 50 years.
Yeah.
Like, this is not like this is a new thing.
Yeah. And I think so anytime I can find somebody that is in a bad situation, particularly late in life, what I want to learn from that, if I'm in this audience listening to this, is how to not end up there. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, if you talk to somebody who's in their 70s, they have zero money. Mm-hmm. It's a bad situation.
Right.
They're living off Social Security, social insecurity, right? Starving to death. Because that's no picnic. Then I want to learn how not to be that person. Mm-hmm. So how do you not end up there?
Yeah.
Where she is?
Yeah, I think what's interesting, and you've talked about this before, in any area of life choices, that type of thing, I don't think it's this... I don't think it's an overnight thing. I don't think it's one of those things that's some tragedy or you flip a switch. It's by degrees.
Yep.
By degrees, we make bad choices. By degrees, we settle. By degrees, we compromise. By degrees, we let someone have power over us. By degrees, we let things go. Don't set boundaries. Don't communicate. By degrees. And you wake up one day, I'm just guessing here on this call, for example, and you make a statement that sounds totally normal to you. I can't tell him because he won't let me do that with my money. And that sounds normal to you. Because by degrees, over 50 years, there have become these grooves in your relationship of what has been allowed, what has been acceptable, what has been permitted, that you are in this very unhealthy dynamic, very unhealthy roles. But I don't think it started that way. I don't think they were like that when they walked down the aisle. I wouldn't imagine,
No. But, some things, your wealth, your health, your relationships, your leadership, your business, your career, there is no such thing as status quo. Nothing stays the same. It is growing or it's dying. And typically, if it's growing, it's a matter of you've been intentional about it. Mm-hmm. If it's dying, it's because your garden. Mm-hmm. If your garden is full of weeds, it's because you let it go. Mm-hmm. No one said, let's intentionally fill a garden full of weeds,
Right.
But you just let it go.
Right.
You didn't do anything. If you want a beautiful rose garden, you've got to put the manure down. You got to do the trimmings. You got to do the cuttings. Mm-hmm. You have to prune the dead wood away. and you have to weed. And so a series of constant, incremental, intentional acts cause you to grow and become better and better and better and better in a given area of your life or relationships. Not doing that, it just deteriorates. So as you said, it didn't start out in the place she is, but so what I want folks to take from that call is, we used to have a guy work here. He said sometimes people like that are an anti-mentor. They're the opposite of a mentor. This is what not to do. Okay, so what not to do is to 35 years ago not have dealt with it, whatever it is.
Right.
And because I'll just not gonna worry about it. Well, then your garden's gonna have weeds.
Do you think there's a generational thing? I'm sure there's a value thing with this. Maybe it's personality style, whatever, where it's this idea of like, I'm going to sweep it under the rug because that's be the bigger person. I'm going to take the higher ground. It's the polite, Southern, godly Christian thing to do. I've told Matt before when we have conversations, I'm like, I don't sweep anything under the rug. My rug is clean. You can lift it up anytime because I just air things all, like I'm very open communicator. But I think some people think that's the open communication is almost offensive, where it's like, well, let's just sweep it under the rug, let it go, that type of thing. But your rug builds up. If you just sweep things under the rug for years and years and years, you get to the point where you've got so much built up resentment and such an unhealthy dynamic because you didn't, to your point, deal with things when they were happening, and it becomes very unhealthy.
Well, we talk about, and you help teach this too when we're teaching in entree leadership, is with a team member that's misbehaving or that is not performing or whatever, if you in the name of being nice, sweep it under the rug, don't deal with it, eventually it's going to explode. Because it's going to get bad enough that and you finally get so frustrated they don't even know you're frustrated.
Right.
That you just walk in mad and fire them.
Didn't you tell a story one time that you got fired? You still don't know why?
Yeah, I did. I probably deserved it.
You should dig into that.
I probably deserved it.
Yeah.
But I'll never know. The guy's dead now. It was a long time ago. I was just out of college.
Yeah.
But he just walked in and cussed at me and threw a box on my table and said, "Get your blankety blank stuff and blankety out of here." And I'm like, "What'd I do? You don't even want to know. Just get out of here." And I'm just like, "My God, man."
Well, I don't know.
I still don't know. But I know he was a jerk. I know that part. But but that doesn't mean I wasn't.
Right.
And that doesn't mean I didn't deserve it. But the point is, you let things build up. And so we always use the saying when you're dealing with team members, and it applies in these other parts of this discussion too, to be unclear is to be unkind. To not deal with whatever there is there, and put it out there and go, this is what's going on, and this is the way this is.
Well, and I would say to anybody listening right now that if something's coming to mind, whether it's in their marriage or in their job or whatever, and they're going, oh yeah, I really hate that. I don't even want to deal with it. I don't face it. Fast forward 30 years. What's that going to look like if you don't? You know what I mean? That it's not going to go away. It's not going to things don't magically just get better. They get better with a lot of hard work and intentionality. It was kind of like what you were talking about a minute ago, because there's this gap between our intentions that we have and the outcomes that we get, and what fills the gap is discipline or not. You're either working on it and growing, like the garden example, or it's dying. And so if you don't have that intentional discipline to act on your intentions, not just, oh, I know I should read a book. Oh, I know I should go to counseling. Oh, I know I should work. No one doesn't do anything. It's not the thought that counts. It's what you do that counts, that leads to the outcomes. And
if I intend to send my wife flowers and I don't, I get no credit for that.
Sharon is not bragging about what you thought about doing for her y'all's anniversary. It's what you actually do that counts.
This is reminding me, because Sharon Pelusa is coming up. Her birthday is in our first date was in February. Her birthday's in February, and so is Valentine's Day. So February is pretty much Sharon Pelusa.
Get it together.
I better get my act together. I better get some stuff going now.
It's not the thought that counts.
Yeah.
It's what you do.
It's the thought that counts. No, it's not.
No, it's not. Nobody cares what you thought about doing.
I intended to send you flowers. You get no credit for that.
No.
I intended to ...
Hey,
you get no credit for that.
You're not bragging about what your kids thought about getting on the report card. No, it's what they actually get. And so I think there's a great great message here. There's a great message of this intentionality. I'll give you a true story example. So the beginning of this year, Dave, Matt, and I sat down. We worked on all of our goals. What are our priorities for the year? What do we want to focus on? What are the trips we want to take? Who do we want to be? How do we want to just improve individually and separate, whatever? Well, one of the things I wrote down, this is me being real honest right now, I just want to be kinder. I want to be just kinder in general. I want to practice kindness. And so...
Not me.
I'm going to add that
Kelly's
to your...
like, really?
I'm going to add that to your list for you when you're not looking.
Okay, all right.
So I wrote this down. So true story. I wrote this down, and I'm like, yes, this is my intention, okay? I want to be kinder, and here's the things. Here's what we're going to focus on. So next day, I was getting so frustrated about something. And I just felt like the anger rising. It was something at the house, something with the kids, and I found myself just like getting real frustrated. And I felt the Lord stirring me. Are you just going to think about being kinder, or are you going to actually take this moment to practice doing what you said you wanted to do? Are you going to give up your right to be right? Are you going to give up your right to be angry? And instead of stomping downstairs and having a big fit about whatever you think you have the right to be mad about, are you going to actually do something about what you said you're going to do? And it was like this moment of, because in theory, everything sounds good. But in real life, of having to walk out some of the things, having to deal with those things that we're sweeping under the rug, act out kindness, it's hard. Oh. It's hard. But that's what produces the results. That's what produces the marriage. That's what produces the outcome.
So project the current trajectory of that section of your life out 50 years and see where it's taking you. You may need some adjustments. I think we all might. That's my reminder from that. That's the reminder I got out of that. The anti-mentor.
That's good.
This is the Dave Ramsey Show. Welcome to the Dave Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's the Dave Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. Christy Wright, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. That's 888-825-5225. Abigail is in Orlando starting off this hour. Hi, Abigail. How are you?
Hey, Dave. I'm doing good. Thanks for taking my call today.
Sure. What's up?
So I have been saving up during forbearance period because I just graduated in May and I have over $140,000 in loans.
Good Lord. Are you a doctor or a lawyer?
Nope. I am a first-generation college student who didn't realize what I was getting into going to a private university down in West Palm Beach. So now I'm aware, but I got a computer science degree, so hoping that that'll at least help me somewhat to be able to.
Absolutely. Have you landed the tech job yet?
Yes, I've been working since September in actually a company down in Palm Beach Gardens. So I'm working there. I've been working there for a while, so it's been a good fit.
What are you making?
67 right now.
Good. And that's your first job out of college. That's nice. Good. So you got a good information systems or technology degree for 4 years, computer science degree, and that sets you up to if you will keep reading, studying, and stay cutting edge in the tech world, your income's going to double in the next 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, and that's my plan. I'm working on some certificates right now.
Yes.
For security, so that's
yes,
what I'm
excellent. Well, it'll more than double if you go into that side.
Yes, yeah.
One of the hottest segments in all of technology right now. Very well done. That's a good choice.
Thank you. And I have some managerial experience from college too, so hoping that'll help boost possibly management in cybersecurity. But today I was just calling because I've had some friends recently been saying I should be saving for a down payment for a house in Florida. Since
your friends are broke.
Yeah.
You don't need to take
Yes,
financial
they,
advice for broke people. You have $140,000 in student loan debt. That's a crisis. You got to get rid of that.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. But my mom said you should call Dave Ramsey, so I was like, okay, might as well.
Your mom,
Yeah,
your mom set you up.
Mom's got some sense.
Mom set you up. She knew what I was going to do to you.
That's right. She's like,
Yeah,
the friends are giving bad advice. Let me send her to the guy.
Yeah.
Listen, Abigail,
Yes, yeah.
you need some R&R. You need some roommates and rent, not buying a house. You need roommates and you need rent, cheap rent, while you pay off this debt. That's the focus. And if you get gazelle intense, like we talk about, you put those blinders on and focus on, you will knock it out. You will knock it out. And then you can save for a house and do all those fun things. But right now, that's a huge thing to weigh you down, especially so early in life.
Did you buy a car?
Yeah. It's completely paid off. I did buy a car, but it's paid off completely. So.
Good. What's it worth?
It is, when I bought it, it was 17, and that was 2 years ago. It's a Camry, so I'm hoping it'll last a while.
Okay. So R&R, Christy's right. So here's the thing. If I woke up in your shoes, you got nothing but huge potential, and the main roadblock to you being very, very wealthy in the next 15 years is these stupid student loans.
Mm-hmm.
And so you got to treat them like they are the enemy, and they must be destroyed. They are the evil empire.
Yeah.
And we get mad every morning when we get up at student loans and give Sally Mae her eviction notice out of your life. So let's play with some numbers, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You live on nothing. You take all the extra gigs you can get in the technology field, and if you put $50,000 a year, you're on student loans, you're done in 3 years. Now, 50 out of 67 doesn't work, but your income's going to be going up, and in the meantime, you're going to get cheap rent and roommates, and you're going to take extra jobs until the income does come up. But I predict 3 years from now, you're going to be making a lot of money if you'll keep on the security path and keep doing this stuff and just work like a maniac and put it all on this. Because you're what? You're 23 or 22?
22.
22. So by the time you're 25, you're debt-free.
Yeah.
And you're making 100, 110.
Yeah.
Now you can save for a house, kiddo.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, well done.
Are you going to do that?
Oh, yeah. I already actually have. It's not an IT, but I'm going to be reffing on the side. I just started.
Or are you going to go get out of debt in 3 years like we talked about?
Yes. Yes, sir, I am.
Okay.
We're holding you to it, Abigail.
I can't wait to hear from you. I want to hear your debt-free scream on the show, okay?
I will. Thank you so much, guys.
All right. God bless you. Open phones at 888-82. That felt a little too easy.
Here's the thing, if she starts doing some freelancer, doing some stuff on the side, you can make some good money in the technology field with what she knows and what she can do. She can get that extra income up ASAP.
And she's used to living on nothing. She's a broke college student.
Yeah.
So keep living like a college student.
She can dig out of that ditch real fast. Yeah.
You don't have to run up a $70,000 lifestyle just because you're making $70,000 at 22 years old.
Don't listen to your friends who say you need to buy a house right now.
Friends.
The friends.
I love it. If your broke friends are giving you financial advice, whatever they said do the exact opposite. Oh, my gosh. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Time to put 2020 behind us. If you're ready to own 2021, actually accomplish your goals with money, your career, your life, we've got the plan. Last year left people wounded and stressed out. Dr. John Deloney comes along, writes our quick read, Redefining Anxiety, How to Get Your Life Back. What anxiety is, what it's not, and how to get your life back. It's only $10. This year, many people want to spend some time connecting or maybe reconnecting with God. Rest and Reset. Christy Wright's new women's devotional, a bestseller as well. Both of these are bestsellers. Living True, 40 Days to Get Back to You. It'll help you do it. And to help you with your money goals, pick up Rachel Cruz's latest bestseller. Just been out about 2 weeks, Know Yourself, Know Your Money. And this book will help you tackle your money mindset so you can make some real progress and reach your goals even faster. DaveRamsey.com/store. And be sure and check these out. The Total Money Makeover's on sale there. Know Yourself, Know Your Money's there. Redefining Anxiety's there. Everyday Millionaires are there. Living True, 40 Days to Get Back to You. The devotional is there. These are all things that have just come out in the last few months, not counting the Total Money Makeover. It's always on the bestseller list perpetually. But these things are all bestsellers. They're all things that'll help you get ahead. You got to put new stuff in your brain if you want new results. It's a pretty simple formula. And I don't know which area of your life it is you want to work on, but we're going to help you. We're here. This is what we do. DaveRamsey.com. Check out the store. This is The Dave Ramsey Show.
What makes our show unique is that we genuinely care about our listeners. We're intentional about choosing the best advertisers to recommend. Blinds.com is no exception. They offer high-quality window treatments at unbelievable prices. And they make it simple to shop blinds, shades, and interior shutters with easy online ordering, free shipping, and a guaranteed perfect fit. Go to Blinds.com and take advantage of this week's special savings.
Our question of the day comes from Blinds.com. Find out for yourself why Blinds.com is the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings. You get free samples, free shipping, and with the new promos they run every month, you'll save even more. The promo code is Ramsey. It's magic. Use it.
All right. Today's question comes from Vic in Massachusetts. Here's what we've got. I'm currently in my 3rd year of college. I have the fortunate chance of receiving enough scholarships to pay for all 4 years. Therefore, I have zero debt and will graduate as an engineer student. From working, I've saved a little over $5,000. I would like to start a business. I've been looking at e-commerce, such as drop shipping using quality product and not cheaply made product. How much money should I put into this business for marketing and resource? Do you have any suggestions? You know, I get this question a lot, Dave, and I think, sometimes people are asking different things when they're asking the question. The first thing I want to clarify is you never want to take out loans, not even a business loan. A business loan has to be paid by someone, and that someone is you. So we don't recommend any type of debt, not business debt, not any type of debt. But when it comes to a startup, I just always recommend that people start small and grow slow. So what's the minimum amount that you can put into this business to get it off the ground where you begin to turn a profit and the business can then fund itself and grow at the speed of cash? The reason we like to recommend this is not just from a financial risk standpoint, but you want to validate your idea. You want to prove your idea. You're also going to learn a lot in those early stages, those first 3, 6 months, year in business about what your customer wants and what you need to do better. So I would just say, what is the minimum amount? You've got a little bit of savings. I don't know what other life transitions you're going through as you're about to graduate. But Vic, I would say a small amount of savings that you cash flow to get it off the ground, prove the idea, and let the business fund itself from there and grow at the speed of cash. Dave, what would you say? Anything?
That's exactly what you do. And so 1,000, maybe 2,000 of the 5,000 max. And I'll just tell you, I'm seeing in the verbiage that you're using, I'm sensing a warning. Okay, warning. One of the in our world where we teach people about how to run a business and how to grow a business, Chrissy's world and my world, with Business Boutique and with Entree Leadership, there's a lot of people like you, Vic, that have a desire to own a business and run a business, and that's where it starts and where it ends. They really haven't said, I want to do a business doing X. They just say, I would like to own my own business. And what do? They Google, own your own business, right? And what comes up is what is a horrible thing that we see quite often. And Christy and I see people, we see bodies littered on this salvage yard, and it's called business in a box. And it's this idea that if you pay someone X number of dollars, they're going to show, if you buy our kit for $500, we'll show you how to do drop shipping on eBay and drop shipping and set you up. And it takes no cash and you're going to get rich. And it's easy, and just give us the $500. Well, what you just discovered is that they have a business.
Right. You are the customer.
And they are selling a business in a box, and there's no such thing.
Yeah.
The closest thing to a business in the box that actually is a real thing is called a franchise, and you might consider that, but that is tens of thousands of dollars at a minimum into something. And so do not do drop shipping that some goober on the internet told you was going to make you rich, and you pay him a fee to learn how. Because all you're going to do is pay him a fee, and you're never going to get anything going on. So this is one of those things that it's like the other one that comes up is if you want to work for yourself, medical court reporting always comes up. Mm-hmm. And it's like, you don't pay somebody $25,000 to be a medical court reporter. It's just right. It's just right. Right. So instead, you need to start searching and saying, okay, I'm an engineer student. What's that got to do with drop shipping? Nothing. So I don't mind you starting your own business, but I want it to come out of your soul,
yes,
not out of a Google search.
Yeah. What do you want to do? What are you excited about? What are you good at? I tell people all the time, start with what you have, your skills, your strengths, your stuff. You're an engineer student. What can you use in some type of business that you're passionate about, that you actually care about?
If you're doing mechanical engineering, maybe you need to design something.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Business is hard. It's awesome, but it's hard. So if you don't love it and you're not excited about it, it's going to be really hard to push through the hard times about something that you just came up in a Google search that you don't really care about. Another way to look at it is, what problems do you want to solve in the world? Some of the best businesses come out of problems that you solve for yourself or someone else, or something you see that needs to be better, and you go innovate.
That's what's wrong with this. The only problem this solves is he makes money.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He didn't say, I want to help people.
Right, yeah.
He didn't say, I'm going to provide a service. I'm going to provide a goodie. Yep. I'm going to provide an item. I'm going to provide something. I'm going to do drop shipping. Mm-hmm. I'm going to sell people crap that they don't even need.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be the middleman. And you read this on the internet, Vic. That's the problem.
Yeah.
That I can just smell it, man. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm 98% sure.
It's just a bunch of words. It's not any heart. There's no heart in this question.
Yeah.
You know,
so
you can feel that.
You do need to start a business. I'm okay with that, but it needs to come out of your guts and not out of Google.
That's good. Somebody stitch that on a pillow.
Guts, not Google. On a pillow? Maybe not.
I like your alliteration. I like where you're going.
Maybe not. Maybe not. I like the alliteration. I'm not sure I want it on a pillow. Sarah's in Spokane. Hey, Sarah, welcome to the Dave Ramsey Show.
Good afternoon. Thanks for taking my call. The reason I'm calling is my husband and I need some help. My father-in-law is trying to convince my mother-in-law, to close out her inherited IRA because he's convinced that the stock market is going to crash. So I want to know is, how can I convince them to keep the money in the IRA, or should I have them move it? Should I let them?
It's hard to convince anyone who is suffering from political paranoia to do anything, because he's bought off on the idea that Joe Biden is the end of the world.
Right.
And every president that has been elected since I've been an adult was going to bring about the end of the world by the people that didn't vote for him, and none of them did. You know?
I totally agree.
So I don't know. I mean, how are you going to get in his head? I don't know. I mean, he needs to turn off Fox News is what he needs to do, and turn off CNN and quit looking on these stupid butt websites. Because there's no historical data anywhere to indicate that a single party, no matter how crooked or incompetent a president is, has the power to destroy America. There's no data. I mean, there's no time in history, no matter, you can find the worst possible presidency in history, and you can argue about what that is, and the stock market did okay.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
he's wrong.
well-
He's wrong. We can talk about whether we agree with the fact that he hates Joe Biden, or whether we agree with, he went down a Trump rabbit hole of some kind. We can talk about all that as a separate subject if you want, but that's not a point. The point is, regardless of whether I agree with all the crap they're doing up there, I've never agreed with all the crap any of them have done up there, but I keep investing, and I've always invested because the data says, the historical data on the stock market says, no matter what moron is in the White House, we still seem to be able to make money in the dadgum stock market.
Right.
That's the only thing I could tell them. That there's
and that's what I keep.
Yeah, I would just say that, Dad, there is nothing to indicate that your paranoia is accurate.
Okay.
And you're gonna lose a lot of money. Let me give you another example, okay? How about this one? COVID is going to bring the economy to its knees, and it will never get up. You remember that one?
I do.
And the stock market dove way down in March and April, remember?
I do.
You know what it made last year? Almost 16% rate of return from January to January. And that's in the middle of freaking COVID trying to destroy our lives. It made 16% last year. So if you freaked out, if you had a COVID freak out and pulled all your money out of the market, you missed 16% on your money. Wow. This is the Dave Ramsey Show.
We were drawn to Christian Healthcare Ministries because we both had young families and we wanted to have more children. And we had also just started a real estate company and needed to find healthcare coverage that would meet our needs. We were attracted to CHM because of its low monthly costs and the ability to negotiate medical costs down.
Established in 1981 and accredited by the Better Business Bureau, CHM is here to meet the needs of your growing family or small business. Check us out at chministries.org.
We absolutely believe in it.
Thanks for joining us, America. Christy Wright, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host. Open phones at 888-825-5225. George is with us in Atlanta, Georgia. Hi, George. Welcome to the Dave Ramsey Show.
Hi, Dave. Long-time listener, first-time caller. My situation is I'm recently retired. I'm working with an advisor, and my advisor is suggesting to me to convert some of my 403B funds to a backdoor Roth IRA. And I wanted to know the advantages and disadvantages of doing that. Just a little bit more background. I'm debt-free except for my home. I do have a pension and maybe about $700K in this 403B. And I'll be quiet and listen.
Okay. No, you can talk. It's fine. Okay, a backdoor Roth is not what we're talking about. He's just saying convert some of this to roll it to a Roth, to roll it to an IRA and make it a Roth. Yeah. A backdoor Roth is a new Roth. That would be you want to put in new money and you make over $200,000 a year, so you can't do a Roth. And what you have to do is open an after-tax IRA and then roll it to a Roth the same day. I do that every year. But that's only $8,000 here. Okay, so this is talking about moving this $700,000 or some of it into a Roth IRA in some good mutual funds, I assume, right?
Right, that's correct.
How old are you?
65.
Okay. All right. Well, the math usually works because if you move whatever you move in becomes taxable. Do you have other?
100K.
I'm sorry?
let's say it's 100K, 100,000.
Then you'd have whatever your tax rate is. If it's a, 25% tax rate, then you'd have $25,000 in taxes when you do that. Do you have other money other than this to pay those taxes with?
I do.
How much other money?
About 200K.
Okay. All right. Well, if you pay the taxes by rolling it to a Roth, from this day forward, it grows tax-free. Now, in order for you to make money as a result of this transaction, because you're paying taxes early, you'd have to pay them eventually anyway when you take the money out, but because you're paying them early in order for this to work, you've got to leave alone whatever you put in this Roth for probably the rest of your life and just take income off of it at most. So, 10 years. At 5 to 10 years, somewhere in there, you're going to be really glad you have let it grow tax-free. So I think moving a portion of this that way and then using the other portion to live out of, don't touch the Roth to live out of and let it grow tax-free, is going to make a lot of sense. I agree with your advisor.
Okay. Well, good. That is the question. Now, do I have to wait the 5-year period?
No.
No,
all I'm saying is in order for the fact that this is growing tax-free to offset the fact that you paid the taxes early, for the numbers to work out for a break-even point is going to be 5 years. That 5 years is just when the math lines cross. You could take the money out any day you wanted to. There's no limitation on it. And the beauty of it is there's no required minimum distribution, no RMD on it when you're 70 and a half if it's in a Roth. So that Roth money can just sit there and grow tax-free the rest of your life, and you may never touch it. And that would be a wonderful thing from an estate planning standpoint.
Okay.
So if you could, ideally, that's what would happen. And so let's just say we move $350,000. You said you had $750 in the 403B?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So let's move $350 into the Roth, and then the $400 you're just going to live out of that. But that $350, go ahead and pay the taxes on it, move it into a Roth, and let that grow tax-free the rest of your life.
Okay.
If you're going to do it that way, then mathematically the advice he's giving you is correct.
Okay. Well, that was my question, and you answered it, and I appreciate that.
And he can actually, I can't do it on the radio because it takes too long to unpack it all, but he can actually show you the present value of those tax dollars today and show you what I'm talking about, where it makes sense, at what point it will have made sense. And if you cash it out before that, then this advice would have lost you money.
Yeah.
So if you cash this out, I can tell you, if you cash it out in 3 years, if you use the Roth IRA money inside of 3 years, this is a bad move. If you're going to leave it alone 10 years, it's a good move. And somewhere between there is where the lines are going to cross and make it a good move, the math lines. But it's not a requirement, it's not a regulation that you leave it alone. I just want you to leave it alone enough that it was the right decision. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And so I would assume then if you are younger and you're definitely going to leave it alone, you would always want to roll it over as soon as you could and you had the money to pay the taxes.
Yeah,
always.
It's, when you're not 65, when you're 45 and you call in, 100%.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to touch it for 20 years.
Right.
For sure.
Right.
And it's always going to make sense if you can pay the taxes without using the money in the account to pay the taxes.
Right.
So he's got the tax money on the side in the side account.
Mm-hmm.
That he got the cash over there to cover the tax bill. And that's key too, because it has the mathematical effect of having actually invested that much more.
Right. Yeah.
In there is what you've done, because you've converted it from a taxable account to a zero taxes. And so it's as if you put, if he did $350,000 and his tax bill was $100,000, okay? It's as if he invested another $100,000 is really into a retirement account. That's what it amounts to. That's the way the math will work out. Sam is with us in Nova Scotia. Hi, Sam. Welcome to the Dave Ramsey Show.
Hi, Dave. Thank you so much for taking my call. I always turn to your show when I need someone to tell me I'm screwing up. Yeah.
That's our new tagline, Sam.
That's our spiritual gift, Sam.
That's our new tagline. Thanks.
Thank
We're going to tell you how you're screwing up.
Thank you so much. Yeah. All right. So I'm a 22-year-old student. I'm in my fourth year. at university. I funded all my education in scholarships, and I have a scholarship to fund the final year. I have about $28,000 in savings, and my question is about starting a business with a friend. I want to know if it's a wise idea. So 6 months ago, my friend and I had a business idea to start a delivery service. We live in a small town where whenever you want to shop online, it takes at least like 3 or 4 days when you pay for premium shipping even to shop online. And we want to have a service where we connect local stores with shoppers because it's so cold here, so shopping in person is always difficult. We participated in a competition at the university to develop a business plan, and we actually won first place. So they decided to give us a $15,000 grant if we decide to go ahead with the idea. However, the business costs $65,000, and my friend and I would have to each pay $20,000 to go ahead with it. And so that would be most of everything I saved. But at the same time, like whenever I look at entrepreneurs, they're like, when you're young, 22, perfect age to take risks. And I don't know, I'm also getting married soon in April, so like a lot of things are changing. And I don't know, is it a wise idea to invest such a huge amount of money in a business?
Okay, Christy?
You don't need $55,000 to start a delivery business that I can see. It's a delivery business. Right? Like you're connecting with the local stores. I think you can do this for close to the $15,000 grant and maybe a little bit of your savings. I would also caution you about going into business with this friend. You both can do your own thing, but you know, it's always, it makes me nervous to get them tangled up in any kind of partnership or something like that. But I think a delivery business is conducive to a lower startup cost. You can get scrappy, get connections and relationships with the local stores. Start at a small scale. I don't think you need $55,000 as a 22-year-old to start a delivery business.
I completely agree. Yeah, basically what you did was you ran a business scenario for the contest, and you ran out your budget for this fictional idea.
Right.
And then the idea became real.
Right.
And so now it's fictional again.
Right.
Let's just do it on a scrappy basis.
Right.
And
That's
not,
the Cadillac
not spend
version.
that kind of money.
Yeah. What's
Let's gut this thing out and not spend as much to get her going. And if you're going to set up a partnership, it's dangerous. Christy's right. I would prefer that one of you be the boss and the other one be one of you be the owner and the other one have some rights to the profits but not be the owner. This is the Dave Ramsey Show. Our scripture of the day, 2 Peter 1:21. For no prophecy was ever produced by the will of man, but men spoke from God as they were carried along by the Holy Spirit. Margaret Wheatley said, leadership is a series of behaviors rather than a role for heroes. Ooh, very nice. Good stuff. Nicholas is in Sioux City, Iowa. Hi, Nicholas. Welcome to the Dave Ramsey Show.
Hi, Dave. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Our honor. How can Christy and I help?
I have a few questions. I'm trying to figure out what I should pay off first. I have about $3,500 in credit card debt. I have about $8,000 saved up in the bank. I have $12,000 in school loans. My current total living expenses right now are $1,200. My car is paid off, but I'm going to need one soon. It's got about 200,000 miles on it. So I'm kind of trying to figure out, what do I do with the credit card loans? And then with a vehicle, do I purchase something super inexpensive for $2,000 to get me a pet for the next couple of years? Or
what do you make?
I make $58,000 a year.
Good for you. How old are you?
28 years old.
Good for you. Okay.
So what's your total debt?
$3,500 and $12,000.
12,000 plus 35, yes. Just under 15.
And then did you say that you have savings?
$8,000.
Okay,
I have about $8,000 in savings. Correct.
Great. Well, I don't
this is the first time I've kind of been in this position, so I've kind of just been saving and really kind of scared to pay off these certain things because it's the first time I've actually been accumulating money at this rate and making decent money at this point.
Yeah, it feels good, doesn't it? Feels good to have some money.
It feels really good. Yes, it does.
Well, here's the cool thing. When you get this debt all paid off, you're going to get to have that feeling again, but actually get to not have this debt weighing you down. You're in a good position. You can knock this out super fast. I mean, you can pay off that credit card debt, keep thousands for your emergency fund, starter emergency fund, just like we say with baby step 1. Baby step 2, list your debts, smallest to largest by balance, which means you can pay off your credit card debt right now, and then you've got an extra $4,000, close to almost $4,000, to put towards that other debt, and then you start chipping away at that with you got a good income. It's not going to take you long. I would say, I don't know what the status of your car is, but I wouldn't worry about the car right now. I'd get this debt knocked out, drive the car as long as you can, and then worry about
I want you to buy a better car and do it by Christmas with cash when you're debt free.
When you're done, yeah. And you'll be able to. I bet your car will go till then. You can get this knocked out, and then you save
it'll make it till Christmas.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do this. We teach a thing called the baby steps, which is the shortest distance between where you are and wealth. Okay? And we've taught it to millions and millions of people. Baby step 1 is $1,000 saved. You've already done that. You've got $8,000 saved. Baby step 2 is you list all of your debts, smallest balance to largest balance, and attack them in that order with any money you can find in your budget. And you're going to be on beans and rice and beans, totally focused, because we want to get this paid off really super fast. And we're going to use any other money we have available. So we've got $7,000 above the $1,000, total of $8,000, that we can throw at this. Now, your student loans, do you have more than one loan that totals to $12,000, or is it just one $12,000 loan?
It's just one $12,000 loan.
Okay. So what Christy's prescribing is this. We're going to set $1,000 into a savings account. We're going to use $7,000 towards your debts. So that's going to pay off all the credit cards. You get them out, cut them up, and close all the accounts as soon as you pay them off. Never use them again. Get a debit card, and that's all you'll need. It'll do everything a credit card will do except put you into debt. You're going to get on a budget with the Every Dollar budget. We're going to put you in our program called Ramsey Plus. I'm going to pay for it for a year for you. And you go through Financial Peace University in Ramsey Plus. You start using the Every Dollar budgeting app, and it calls you to do that. Now, we've got $3,500 left over because we put $3,500 on credit cards. We had $7,000. We're going to put that towards the $12,000. You following me? So we're down to $8,500. I think you're going to pay that off, and with your income, you're going to pay that off in 3 months.
Okay.
So 3 months from now, you're 100% debt-free with $1,000 in the account. The next thing you do is baby step 3, and we're going to raise your account. I want you to keep on with this intensity, and we're going to just pile up cash now. And now your goal is 3 to 6 months of expenses in savings for a rainy day fund only, not to be used for anything except emergencies. Okay? And in your world, we're going to call that $12,000. That's 3 to 6 months of your expenses. I just made that up. You can change it if you want to. Okay? But the goal is, how fast can we have $12,000 and then save up for a car and buy a car by Christmas with cash? And you'll be able to buy about a $6,000 or an $8,000 car with cash. You'll have $12,000 in the bank, and you'll have zero debt. And that's where you're going to be at this time next year.
Sounds like a great plan to me.
And that's going to feel really good. Even better than that $8,000 sitting there. It's going to feel really good to have that savings and no debt hanging over your head. It's going to feel really good. It's going to be worth that hard work between now and then.
Yeah, we'll show you how to do it. I'll put you on hold, and Kelly will pick up, and we'll put you into Ramsey Plus, and go do the Financial Peace University stuff. Get on the budget. I mean, this is boot camp for money, baby. I mean, we're going to show you exactly how to do it, and you just game on. Don't let your foot off the gas until you get there. Now, once you get there, you can start investing for retirement, and you're going to start building wealth. You can ease up a little bit, but get that emergency fund and get debt free. These are big goals, and you knock that out, it's going to change your whole position. Well done. Very well done. Madeline is in Orlando, Florida. Hi, Madeline. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing great. How are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
So first I want to say that my fiance and I have paid off recently $36,000 in debt.
Way to go.
Thank you so much thank you. So we have some tenants. My fiance has a house in Texas, and the tenants are moving out, and we have $6,000 cash. And I'm wondering, is that going to be enough to sell the house right now? We're thinking of maybe just replacing the floor and touch-up paint. It's a mobile home, and it's in Texas, and we live in Florida.
Yeah, what do you owe?
So we're not sure if that's going to be enough. $115,000.
Okay, what's it going to sell for after you spend $6,000 on it?
We honestly don't know, because I know that you say mobile homes go down in value.
Yeah.
So I've never even purchased a house or sold a house, so I have no idea.
My guess is it's sitting on a piece of ground, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's sitting on about half an acre.
Yeah, and you own that, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So you need to get in touch with a real estate agent in that area. Go to DaveRamsey.com and click on ELP for real estate. Have them go out and look at it for you, and ask them to say, I got $6,000. How can I spend that the best to cause this thing to get sold? And what am I going to be able to sell it for?
Okay.
And they can tell you. They can walk through there and go, okay, you need to do this floor. You need to paint that. You need to haul this junk off. You need to rake out the yard. They're going to tell you, some stuff to do to get it ready to sell. The most efficient use of your $6,000, right?
Yes.
And I hope to God the thing will sell for enough to at least pay the bill.
Yeah, that's what we're praying for as well.
Yeah, that's my hope. I don't know if that's the case. I have no idea what that lot's worth under it or what this trailer's worth. But, get an endorsed local provider to help you with this, because you're going to need a real estate agent to list it and get it sold. And they can advise you on and even help you get the repairs done, help you coordinate since you're out of town. And then you get those repairs done, spend the $6,000 efficiently. You may want to go over there and spend a couple of weeks and do it yourself. I don't know. To get the best use, let's make that $6,000 go as far as we can and get this stinking thing out of your life. Because getting rid of $100,000 worth of debt is a beautiful thing.
Yeah. Yeah, that would free them up so much financially, and just the headache and the stress of having that in a completely different state and having to worry about it. But I love how our endorsed local providers walk people through these major life decisions and major life transitions, because it takes so much of the fear and the overwhelm out of it. They're experts in what they do, and they can walk you through and show you exactly what you need to do.
Exactly. Good show today, Christy.
Thanks for having me.
Well done. James Childs, our producer. Kelly Daniel, our associate producer and phone screener. Great job. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. We'll be back with you before you know it. In the meantime, remember, there's ultimately only one way to financial peace, and that's to walk daily with the Prince of Peace, Christ Jesus.